Hi, Marty.
Play another hour.
Hello.
Yeah.
Julie, one, nice to see you on here. Sorry, I didn't see you, Julie. You're muted, buddy. You're not chicken liver, Julie. I just saw that. I didn't see you on there. Look at Marty thinking, man. That's scary, isn't it? He's just smoke's coming out of his ears.
No, and came back in.
Okay, I'm done. Red, are you done? All right, when Red's done, you guys can go.
Are you recording the Zoom, Marty, too, or no?
I wasn't, but I can.
I know it's going to be live streamed, so that's just as good, right? So just thought there you go.
Give us a couple more minutes, guys. We're waiting for Red to get his streamline going, and then it's all red.
I know, Chris, the dogs act up there. Charlie's chewing a bone.
As soon as I turn on the Zoom,
I
she's
know.
got to eat. She's got to go outside. She wants
I
something
know.
going.
I just walked Charlie in the pouring rain before.
I think she smells your dog.
Jeez, Marty and Red are so serious. Hi, Julie. Good to see you.
So I'm just waiting for the changes to save, and then I'm good to go.
Okay,
Hi,
Red.
Susie. Great seeing you and Debbie together. Can't wait
Yep.
to learn from both of you. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Linda Longmire. I see you in the chat. Laverne. I think I saw Roy McPhail. It's like a good group.
Okay.
Okay, Red.
We are good.
Ready? You want to just take it from here?
Yep.
Okay, it's all yours, brother. Thank you.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone. I am going to give you a run through of OStaff with some slides, and hopefully it will give you a really good explanation of what OStaff can do for you guys, especially if you have a business. It's quite detailed. I've absolutely loved going through the slides and looking into OStaff. Obviously, we were showed a sneak peek of it by our CEO, Ash Mafara, a couple of weeks ago. And this is a huge, big product that we have of OnPassive. It really does tick a lot of boxes, and there is also going to be a lot more added to it. So without further ado, can everybody see my screen?
Yes, it's not in play mode. There you go, slideshow. Perfect.
Yeah, right, let me just, can I minimize that? What are you seeing? Have you seen that on anything on the right-hand side, or is it?
No, all we see is presenting the most awaited HR management system.
Fantastic. Okay, so welcome everybody. My name is Red Redfern and I will be giving you this presentation tonight on OStaff. So let's get started. Today is a presentation of the most awaited human resource management system. It is OStaff and it is by our very own company on Passive. So what exactly is OStaff? It is our very own artificial enabled human resource management system. So what are some of the challenges that most companies have with their own human resource management systems right now? Most of them are what we call hard copy based. This means they are based around Excel spreadsheets and normally a computer hard drive. This causes quite a few problems within the actions of how a human resource management system works. There is productivity issues, fraudulence, obviously, when people have access to it, quality of work, because a lot of the information that's stored on these hard copies is out of date, and there's errors as well with inputs. And the bottom line, it means that the traditional methods of managing a HR system that is storing employees' information, it's slow, cumbersome, especially when it comes to the recruiting process, actually inputting all of that data into your human resource management system. With the new generation of human resource management systems that are coming online now, they are completely automated. This means that artificial intelligence has been woven into many of the processes that you see have to be done manually now. This takes over all of this. There is no fraudulence, there is no errors, because there is a computer behind it doing it all. This saves time and money, and also it will increase the productivity of the company itself, because it means that people have more time to then go on to do others. So the advantages of this human resource management system, okay, it automates your whole of the business process, from the managerial all the way down to the employee. Everybody has access in various levels, and this is put by the overall manager of the system. He can then attribute various levels of security to various people. For instance, if you are higher management, you will then have access to the full package of OStaff. If you are line managers, for instance, you will only have access to certain parts of it. If you are then one of the workers, you will then only have a very small access to it. This helps to streamline the workforce within the managerial and the workers itself, and it improves efficiency and productivity. And I can tell you now that the employees absolutely love this system. OStaff is the next generation of human resource management system. It really is being brought up to the 21st century right now. We have integrated it with all the latest tech, and it makes things much, much easier. Above all, it is very, very cost effective. If you are using any of the human resource management systems out there now, and there is many, you are probably not only using that one product, but you're probably having to go to other areas and other places to use other things that your management system doesn't have integrated to it right now. What OStaff has done and what OnPassive have done is they have made sure that everything that you need to run your business through OStaff is all in one place, under one roof, for one price, included in OStaff. So it's very, very cost effective. You're only paying for that one product, not other products that add into it. It automates the whole of the human resource operations with minimal effort. Once you have inputted the data that you need for your location and area, that is it, done. Everything else will be automatically done by the system for you. And it effectively manages all of the regulations within those countries. So for instance, if you are a large corporation or company that has bases around the world, you only have to import that data once for your own location, and then anybody else that you put into that management system for that area will automatically take on those rules and regulations of that country that you have imported. It's very, very efficient, and it does save a lot of time and a lot of effort. So what are the benefits then of this human resource management system that we call OSTAF? It has a human resource system management system. This means that you can decide who has access in what areas. And there is a lot of areas within this management system we call OSTAF. It has a user role management area. This means that you can give permission for whoever and anybody you like for various departmentals within OSTAF. It has an extremely good payroll management data system. It does absolutely everything. You can break it down into hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly, or even yearly payroll systems. It automatically works out the tax that that person has to pay within the country they are. Remember, you only have to import this data and put it in once, and then the system automatically will then, anytime anybody gets put onto this payroll, they will automatically work it out for you. From a managerial point of view, it gives you a complete workout of what tax liabilities you have to pay within that country. So it is all easy accessible in one place. There is also a resource management, and this means that part of the resource management is telling you exactly what your employees that you have on your system are capable of doing. So if you have a project coming up, for instance, you can easily look at your resource management area, and it will tell you who is qualified to do that job that you need filling for the coming weeks, months, days, whatever it may be. You also have a skill management department as well, an area. This is where you have employees and you want to bring them up to a certain level for an upcoming job, for instance. And so you can then, through the skill management, you can give them tasks, you can give them upgrading of what they need to do to be able to come up to the next level. All that is mapped out for the employee through the skills management area. It also has a performance manager area. So if you're a line management, you have to do daily reports and weekly reports on your people that are underneath you. This means that there is a breakdown then of what these people are doing, how they are performing within their job role. And it also tells you automatically if they need any retraining from the reports that your line managers will be putting into the performance management area. It also has a really good attendance leave management that you can allow access directly to the employees so they can pick their own time off very, very easily. Also, it has a checking in and checking out, which I'll get into a little bit later on this, the employees absolutely love. And I'll get into that because it really is an important part of what OSTAF can do for you as a company. It also has a training administration area. So this, I suppose, works in tangent with the performance management and the skills management. If you need somebody to do courses, then you can put these courses in the training administration area and employees access that, do the course in their own time. And once it's done, you will know that they have completed that course, and then you can add it to their skill management area, and you know that person is then skilled to do certain tasks and jobs within the workplace. So what is OSTAF going to do then? It helps a better workflow and collaboration between employees and managerials and higher management levels as well. It will seamlessly inform the managers of how the employees are working, their timekeeping, whether they are up to date with their courses. You can put in all sorts of courses that need to do. Nowadays within the workplace, most people have to do first aid courses, they have to do refreshers, all of these things you automatically only input it once into the system, and then the system will automatically tell you as a manager or a line manager when these courses are coming up again for that person. So it gives you plenty of time to book these people in for whatever they need to have to operate and do their job. Is it extremely cost effective? So it optimizes the company's costs by giving them everything that they need in one place. And it has a super user interface. The employees absolutely love this system. You can set it up so they use facial recognition where they work to clock in and clock out. Now, I don't know about you, but most big businesses or even medium-sized businesses, they have one area where all employees have to clock in and clock out. With this new system, it automatically picks up the IP address from their mobile phones. They access the system, they physically log in using facial recognition in their workplace, wherever it is. So there's no walking backwards and forwards to clocking in. The employees absolutely love it because they get to work in their place of work, they log in there and then, and the system knows that they are there because of the IP address, and the GPS tells them where they are. So you automatically know that you have your workforce in the right areas for where it is. In the future, not only will you know from this as well, but there will be CCTV integrated for managers within the OStaff platform as well. Employees love it because it saves them time. It saves them a lot of effort. It means that when their working day is finished, guess what they do? They get the mobile phone out, they log in, bam, that's it. Their working day is over. They leave where they've been working and they go straight home. They haven't got to walk 200 yards down the road to log in, then 200 yards back, then to get in their car. They clock out there and then from their work area and everyone's happy. So they absolutely love this system. So what else is it going to do for you then? Not only is it going to give you all that as well, but we have multi-currencies that you put into your payroll. Like I said, if you have multiple sites around the world, you only have to import the currency data into your payroll system once. Then it picks up by the place where it is being held, that it's in that country, and you can pay multiple currencies through your payroll with OStaff. It is AI-driven functionality. This means that there is artificial intelligence woven into the fabric of OStaff, and it works out a lot of these mundane things that most people have to actually physically type in time and time and time again for every single employee. A lot of the hard work is taken by the computer and it does it automatically. Also, once you have put in the country-based rules, whether it is employment law, whether it is taxation, whether it is insurances, etc., you only have to put it in once and then it will work the rest of it out for you. You can also schedule data import. This means that if you are using an existing system now and you want to bring it all over onto OStaff, you can schedule this at a time and date. So it means that you can seamlessly move from one system onto our system by importing all of that data at a time that is suitable for you, which means there's no downtime for your organization. And as I said before, it is extremely cost effective. So let's have a little look at the difference between human resource management systems and company management systems and human resource informational systems. As you can see, each of these attributes within the color code in here have certain pluses that they all do. What OStaff has done is taken all of these that you see here and integrated it all into OStaff. So when I said at the beginning there, whatever system that you are running, sometimes you have to get other bits from another area so that it becomes a complete package. With OStaff, we've taken everything that you might need to run your resources management system into one place under one roof. Now, here is some of the players that you probably recognize right now if you are using any of the management systems. In India, we've got Keka, Great, HR, Soho People. In the US, we've got Paylocity, Workday, HMC, and Kronos. And through Europe, we've got Freshcup, Conrop, and Bittrex 2, 4. So you probably might recognize some of these, or you might not. Now, the human resource management arena right now is a massive place to be in. Around about $20 billion worth of business is done right now today by companies paying for human resources. And as you can see here by this screen, OStaff ticks all of the boxes what we are giving for this very low cost. I'm not going to run through all of them, but it's fair to say that we really have looked at everything. And you can tell by this next slide that everything is all available for this one price. There is no upgrading. There is no adding on before you can get other things. No, with OStaff, we give you everything from word go. With the others, as you can see through the reds, you only get it at a certain cost, and they might not even do it anyway. So with OStaff, everything is included for the one price. So let's have a look at some of the unique selling points of OStaff. It has an artificial intelligence-based touchless attendance. Remember, I said about this. The employees love it. They use machine learning and deep learning algorithms to mark the attendance of the employees. Like I said, they can log in and log out from their place of work using their mobile phones through facial recognition. They love it. It saves them time. Even if it saves an employee half an hour a day, so that's 15 minutes logging in and 15 minutes logging out. They love it because they are not spending any more time at their work and without getting paid. So they log out or log in from the area that they are working at. It improves system efficiency and secures attendance because the facial recognition picks up where they are working. And so you can instantly see through the managerial roles within OStaff how many employees you have in attendance in that day. So for instance, if you have scheduled 5 staff to work in one area, you'll be able to check instantly how many are logged in to work in that area. It's a fantastic system, not only for the employees, but also from the managerial as well. Another fantastic role as well is it helps to automate recruitment processes. It simplifies and automates the resume selection, and it segregates processes and external portals. This means that once you have started inputting the data of a new employee into the system, it will then segregate it all out, and it will tell you exactly what the qualifications of that person and what they are able to do within your business. Remember, I told you right at the beginning with the skills management, etc. This system actually tells you how qualified somebody is to do certain jobs. This means that you can move these people up at a quicker level into higher positions because they are qualified to do it. The system will automatically tell you that they are of a training point that they can move up, and then obviously you can then reevaluate and reassess. But it is a fantastic system. It means you only have to put in this information once, and then the artificial intelligence once again gets to work, and it will tell you exactly what these people are capable of doing. It also has a predictive analytics. This means that it accurately predicts resource requirements of role based on the historical data for upcoming projects. Remember what I said is that if you have a new project coming up, you put this data into OStaff, and it will actually tell you which staff will be able to do the job that you are projecting for the future. And it does all this automatically. It will say, Fred Jones can do it, and Bob over there can do it. And so you can choose who you want to have for this project that you have got coming in, because you're going to put in all the information about the project. Now, as I said before, this is a massive growing market. Not only will our O staff facilitate all of your needs as a business, as a standalone human resource management system, but also with OnPassive, there is the opportunity to become a reseller of this product as well. So not only can your company use the product, but you can then also become a reseller of this product. And there are some very attractive things within OnPassive for you as a business to become a reseller of the O staff and any other of our products and services of OnPassive. So thank you very much for watching this presentation on O staff. If you've got any questions, please get back to the person who has shown you this video today. It is a fantastic product. It ticks so many boxes as a human resource management system. You will not be disappointed when you start looking at it, and it will facilitate all of your needs as a small, medium, or large size business. That's it for me. Back over to you, Chris Johnson.
Wow, Red, thank you. That was excellent. I think I'm going to run out and find an HR job real quick. You made it so simple. Once again, Red, thank you. We have two what I call powerhouse ladies, my beautiful sisters, Susie McCrea and Debbie Principi, if I said that correct. I'd like to start out with Susie. Give us a little background. I know you both have 25, 30 years plus in the HR. Give us a little background and maybe tell us some things why you love this. Susie, go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, Red, that was an excellent presentation. Really, I learned things just listening to it. So yeah, just a little bit of the background. You know, I was in human resources after I had left the company I was with Deb with. So our background isn't specifically human resources. However, we understand all the pieces of the puzzle that Ash and his team have put together in O staff to get it all into one platform, which is amazing. So Deb and I worked together way back. I think I met Deb in the late 1980s, I believe. And we worked for a large supermarket chain. And back then we were going into time and attendance and payroll and labor forecasting and training and development. And everything was going from paper to computers. And we would need to run reports from different areas, either the front end registers to kind of project how we were going to schedule people. And then we had the paper time cards that we had to input manually, Deb shaking her head, yeah, into a workstation. It wasn't even a computer, and then transmit the payroll through a modem and all of that stuff, and then just working out things for employees. Well, eventually things progressed and things did get better. And I believe, Deb, there was an employee portal. So for those of you who understand what that is, that came around probably in the 1990s, sometime late 1990s, mid 1990s, where employees could have access, not just with the company we work for, but everywhere, where it was like a self-serve, an employee self-serve, an ESS, where they could go in and get a lot of their questions answered, or print out their pay stubs, or, you know, look at their benefits or things like that. So through the years, in my experience and Deb's experience, we have also been involved in training and development and succession planning and planning for new stores. So one of the big things we would do was we had a process where we would, employees would matriculate up to different levels and learn different skills. So all of a sudden, we would need to open a brand new store and staff it with 200 to 300 people. Who was best to go to that store? Who would replace that employee who was transferring from another store? Who had the skills? Who you know, knew what, had like moved up the ladder? So we used to do that all on paper, in meetings, through emails, through charts, and just trying to put our heads together to do that. It would take hours and hours and days and days. So those are some of the pieces of the things that we were always looking at. And it was all, a lot of it was reports you could pull, but then it was always someone had to interpret it on their own. So to see this all pulled in into one system is amazing. And I'm just going to say a few more things and then let Deb say what she would like to say. I think people looking at this and feeling like, oh my goodness, how am I going to explain this if I want to tell people about it? Kind of keep it as simple as you can. So think about this. An employee, prospective employee applies for a job. They get called for an interview. They're interviewed. They get the job. Then they get their compensation. How much are they going to make? They have to fill out paperwork. Then the company has to onboard them. They have to get certain paperwork put in a system. A lot of it's required in different areas, whether it's a hospital setting, whether it's something like a truck driver who needs what they call a CDL license, whether the person needs to know basic life support. All of this information needs to get into the system. Then the person comes on board. They need a schedule. They need training. They need support. They need to understand their benefits. How do my benefits work? Who do I go for that? So just think of it in the eyes of a new employee as they go through the system. Then who's my supervisor? How do I communicate with my supervisor? Who's on my team? How do I communicate with them? How do I know about meetings? How do I work my email? How do I do this, that, or the other thing? So now they come on board. And if you don't do a good job on that, you lose people. So I can see staff is doing an excellent job at getting that onboarding process. Now, in the meantime, as you brought that one employee on, you may have spent days and hours looking through applications to find an employee to interview. You do that by getting these applications, eyeballing them. And I just love how Red presented that. The artificial intelligence in OStaff is going to grab all of those qualifications you're looking for so that you're not going through hundreds and hundreds of applications to narrow it down. Okay, so just think of the time saving for a manager and also the quickness of getting an employee, because if an employee is applying for jobs, they're not just applying with your company, they're applying in several different places. So with OStaff, I can see the quickness of someone coming, getting called for an interview quicker than another company because that artificial intelligence is working and that manager says, "Oh, I want Debbie to interview." So that is a huge, huge piece. Onboarding in a new employee, them feeling like, wow, this company has it going on. I've got everything all in this one place. I know exactly where I go for this, that, or the other thing. I don't have to learn all these different logins. There's just so much I could talk about it on the management side, but I'm just going to leave that with everyone now. Keep it simple and put yourself in the shoes of a new employee and what that employee needs when they come to a company, and then think about the person bringing them in, how they can support that new employee and their company without looking like they don't know what's going on, and that they do it efficiently and effectively so that employee comes in and they stay and they're locked into that company. I can just see it doing so many things to help with turnover and just continuity with a new employee. So Deb, I've done a lot of talking. If you want to talk a little bit about Deb is very focused on labor management and payroll and time and attendance. If you want to speak a little bit about that too.
Yeah, it's, just thinking back about where we've been, Susie, right? I was having flashbacks when you were talking back about in the 80s and early 90s, and it's so true. And just, I'm still with that company, still in labor management. And when I look at just our current state, right, we went through all of that pain not too long ago. 12 years ago, we introduced yet another, newer to the market, time and attendance system for time and attendance, scheduling, labor forecasting, and the pains that we went through to do it, the training costs, just to train people. And the screens were nowhere near as intuitive as, as OStaff. So just, you went through all of the benefits for a new person, it's absolutely true. But from a manager, and let's face it, out in the business now in retail, there's turnover in the leadership roles, just like there's turnover, on the sales floor. So there's green managers that have not been in the business, and to have a tool, the tools like OStaff to be able to help them, support their business, help them with recruiting and hiring, help them, learn one system, one intuitive system for all of these different modules for scheduling, budgeting, payroll. What a huge benefit. What a huge benefit to any company, large or small. So, so many different benefits.
Hey, Deb, I wanted to ask you if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about, I know after I left the company and went to the hospital, I was involved in some of the decision making at the hospital for new either payroll systems or time and attendance systems. And we were talking staff of about 2,000 people, of some of them at $100,000 or more to just get started. I don't want to talk too much about money. Every business, it is a business cost for everyone to have a payroll system, some sort of human resource management system, and it's generally either a standard price, and then it's a price per employee, and then if you increase the number of employees or managers, you have to buy more licenses.
Yeah.
Exactly, and or there's upgrades. And I just know with OStaff, the companies will have control of what we call the C panel, the control panel, so they can make this OStaff mirror their company in the ways they want to. They don't have to wait for the vendor to go make changes or to customize it to what they want, which I think is wonderful. But I don't know how much you're at liberty to talk about costs that are incurred in the former company I worked with.
Yeah. Yep.
If you could.
It's true. There's associate licenses and there's manager licenses, that we have to pay every year. So the bigger you grow as a company, just to be able to use time and attendance, scheduling, those are all individual licenses that we have to pay for every one of those modules. Plus, managers. So managers for our organization, major retailer, we have the managers at the store level that are administrating, then our corporate. So anyone that needs visibility into any of the systems and, and what's going on at the store level, and any one of those people that needs access to reports or any of that, those are all people who we have to pay yearly for manager licenses to be able to do that. So the cost is huge. Absolutely.
Right. And as Ash Mufareh, our CEO, and is always at, there's no limit here, because a lot of places it's like, okay, if you have between 5 and 50 employees, it's this cost. 50 to 100, it's this cost. And with OStaff, you're paying, the value you get is like so crazy. It is amazing that a company can come in at such a low cost and get so much value and not have to worry about the price going up or all of the different extras that they have to pay. So, we could, Red and Chris, we could talk forever about a lot of these things. One of the other things that I thought is great is all of the training and development and the skills management. You know, when you have employees on board, they want to, most of the time, they want to learn more. And you're to be able to offer that. I've been thinking just like, oh my goodness, if they have O staff, then they'll have access to O Academy. So a lot of the staff then can go into O Academy and start learning new things right there, and the company can like just partner with that so that an employee is, like I said, constantly growing and learning things and providing that for them. Also, just think about this during COVID, all of the documentation. I can't even imagine what the hospital's going through with the documentations of the testing of any kind of immunizations. That was a nightmare before COVID, but just imagine how this can all be right there under one roof, all of that documentation, because that must be a huge nightmare for companies right now. And you have it all in the same location. Now, all of a sudden, there's a broadcast for a company. There's all different ways companies broadcast information depending on where you work. It could be an email, it could be a text message, it could be whatever they're using. Just think about how fluid this would be if everyone knew exactly where to look or how information was being sent to them in one location, that they didn't have to go look for it over here or then check their email and go there. Because times are changing and things are moving fast and communication is key. And if you don't have a good way to communicate with everyone, you know, things get lost through the crack. One last thing too, Red, you talked a lot about the manual, the old way of like doing things on paper. Just think of the mistakes that could have been made there. I know one of the things we didn't really talk about is people going in for leaves or taking time off. There's so many different kinds of leaves out there, like medical leaves, family leaves. And when did it start? When does it stop? What do they qualify for? I mean, that was kept on an Excel spreadsheet, a place that I worked. And if you didn't look at that every day, there were no way to alert you that this person is coming back or we need to check in with this person. So that is all figured out in O staff, that it's going to manage all that. Think about clinically, a nurse, their license is expiring. They don't have their basic life support is certification is expiring and they have to get it done within a month. I used to manage primary care practices and I'd get a panic call from human resources where I used to work saying, Susie, if so-and-so doesn't get their basic life support certification by tomorrow, they can't work. They can't see a patient. And you're like, oh my God. So just knowing just a sense of security that this is all there. And like Ash has told us, there's no typing. It's all like menu selections and drop downs. Yes, I'm sure there is some place where you can put additional information, but just think about the beauty of no typing, such few errors. And I'm sure the artificial intelligence will know if you are making an error on someone based on maybe how long they've been with you or what is required. It's just phenomenal. It's just going to relieve people so much by it all being there and accountable and not trying to go to all different spreadsheets and looking at a calendar, an online calendar to say this one needs it. It was a nightmare. It makes me want to go back to work as a manager.
And just to have everything in one system, Susie, instead of all these different, you know?
I know, and I haven't even gotten into performance evaluations. Just think of a manager doing a performance evaluation and they can see what that employee has done over the year based on maybe they are taking other courses or learning new things. That gets added in. Then just imagine you can go over to their attendance and you can drop and drag or drag and drop their attendance, that's a graph, and you can say, look at Susie. She, she had this attendance. Look at this beautiful graph, just like a visual where a manager can just go pick and pull things and put that together. Think about a company that has to do online training constantly. That's a requirement. Red, you worked in the restaurant. You were a chef. There's, in the U.S., there's ServSafe, where people have to pass certain, certifications working in that area, and it's just to have all of that there. I mean, just amazing. I could go on and on.
Susie, Debbie, thank you very much. Sounds like that you're extremely happy to see something like this come out. I know it sounds like you probably would have had a lot less stress. And as I learn more about this, I'm seeing me coming from Ford Motor Company. They definitely can use this because managers, HR people are the most stressed out people in the world. So I'm real happy. I do appreciate your history lesson you just gave us. I know now I never want to work in HR, but with those staff, I might want to do it. At this point now, we'll take some questions. Please raise your hand if you have a question about our staff. Susie, Debbie, and Red will do the best they can to answer all those questions. And Julie will be bringing you onto the panel as your hands are raised. Once again, you three, I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Red. Thanks, Deb. There's Julie.
Julie, you going to bring some people on the panel?
Yes, they are on their way.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie, Red, and Debbie. Great information.
Yeah, while you're bringing people on, I wrote down a few notes while I was listening to Red too. There's a whole thing called position management too. People need to know, especially in larger corporations and in the smaller, like who do they have in what position, like we said, and then you're going to maybe expand. Don't just like willy-nilly start hiring different people. Find out what job type, what do I need, what are the requirements. Companies have these things, but it's just the fact that it's all woven in together using artificial intelligence all in one place. You can't say that enough.
Wow. All right. Who did you bring in first? Lois? Lois, you got your microphone up. You have a question for the panel, please? Looks like you're already unmuted. Lois White, can you hear me? All right, you know what, Lois, we will come back to you. Let's get with Miriam. How you doing, Miriam? Go to unmute yourself, ask your question, please.
Hi, I'm doing good. I just wanted to make a comment. I really enjoyed, Susie, what you said, and I enjoyed what Red said. It's just, this is a real learning experience, but I really didn't have a question.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Miriam. That was nice. Lois, are you back with us, Lois? You want to unmute yourself? All right, we'll get back to you, Lois. Hang in there. How about Leon Holiday? Would you like to come out and unmute yourself, please, and ask your question?
Yes,
Leon?
yes,
There
I'm
you
here.
go.
Hi,
Go ahead,
how are
Leon.
you? Yeah, it's not so much a question, but I listened to everything. And I was a director of operation for a municipality, a special government district. And everything you guys spoke of in the hospital or having certification in the state of California and in almost every state since 1979, every person that operates water treatment has to have a certification, water distribution, collection system, wastewater treatment. People work in the lab, everybody have to have certification. And everybody also have to maintain their education points, just like the nurses have to keep those licenses up. And every 2 years, and if you got a company that got over 500 people, that means every day somebody's license coming due or somebody having to maintain their license and bring them up to par. And so I heard you guys mention something about like in old staff, you can bring in the O Academy, because look, now O Academy is so great because the state will okay certain education points from certain different areas. So you can, almost anybody can put a program, instead of the operators going out, leaving the district, they can bring on O Academy, they can actually bring those points right there. And also you dealing with OSHA, Cal OSHA, you dealing with, you got a AQMD, Air Quality Management District, every agency you can think of, you're dealing with, and you got people being promoted every day. You're getting people having step increases every annual year. All that has to go through a human resource system. And this is the perfect, old staff I've noticed is the perfect system for that. And like you said, when I left my job, they was trying to implement a system that was so complicated. I mean, it took months to train on those systems. And so those staff would be ideal for, like he said, if it's going to have screens, that's even better right there. And a few typing in, a few things here and there. And I can see this program for every single governmental agency out there. I mean, every government agency, from special district to municipalities, because remember, you got to be a good steward of taxpayers' dollar. And if a taxpayer see that you're not a good steward, they're going to be asking questions. They're going to file. We want to file a Information Act so we can see what you're spending over here, what you're doing over here. And when you can just go push a button and print up a report, and it's all the way down to the T. And this is going to be the most perfect ideal for those type of agencies. And I mean, from small to large, I don't care. Most municipalities going to have at least 50 to 100 people. You know, the smaller municipalities, are very, very small cities, maybe 10, 15, 20 people, but they still have to have accountability to all of these regional quality control board, the AQMD, the state, the federal government, everybody. And this is what makes this program really a good program.
Wow, Leon.
Yes.
Leon, if you don't mind, I'd like to keep you on the panel.
Yes.
Sounds like Susie, do you agree with me? Sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Keep yourself on the panel there and mute yourself if you can help with any questions. That would be great,
Okay,
Leon.
sounds good.
Great words, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Chris, I'll just jump in there just to expand on what he's saying as far as what our staff can do. When you are setting up courses or retraining or new certificates or whatever, you'll have the ability to preset notifications to the managerials. So for instance, you'll have to input the data, the notifications once. So if you say, right, I need to have 6 weeks notice for when it's going to expire, then you put that in once, and then the system will automatically notify the managers that you are coming up for renewal of whatever it may be 6 weeks before. Some might only be a week before, because for instance, if it is an online course that you can do with Academy, then you only need to give them a very short notice. They go over to Academy, do it, thanks very much. You get a completion certificate from on passive automatically. If you are accredited place, then you would get a certificate as well from the company that you're doing the course for. And another thing as well, what it will automatically do is if you are on a course and it takes you away from your work, it will automatically log that person out of the system, so that when your course is coming up, if you have scheduled your course for a certain date, you'll be able to look at your rota schedule. You'll say, hang on, Leon's not here, he's on a course. So you'll be blanked out, which means you have to fill that position. But you'll know all about this because the system will tell you that you're on a course way before you not turning him up on Monday, and you go, holy shit, where's Leon? He was meant to be here. And then they go looking, oh, he's on a course. And you're going, oh my God, I need somebody there because we need to fill Leon, you know. This is why it's going to help so many companies, because it's going to organize them, plain and system. Not only is the company going to like it because they're going to be more organized, because they've got a system actually telling them what is going on, but the employees like it as well. Because how many times have you been working for places, you know your certificate has lapsed, but you're still in there working? How many times are you knowingly doing a job that you shouldn't be doing, but because you want the job, you're doing it. But if the shit hits the fan, it's not a good working environment to be in. With OStaff, the employees are happy because they're up to date with their certificates, they're up to date with all their courses, and probably being pushed forward to upgrade their position as well with new things, because again, the system will say, well, he's been in this job for 2 years. You had to write reports on your performance. And then the performance reports will actually tell the managerials, this guy is due for an upgrade or to be leveled up. This is what makes this system so good, because it takes out of the hands of the individual of whether they like you or not, or whether they don't like you. We've all been there. If you don't fit the bill, sometimes you get sidelined, and the brown noser gets brought in because he's been kissing ass with the manager. It alleviates all of this, because the system is saying, hang on a minute, this guy is of the right caliber, this guy has got the right qualifications, and so this guy should be moved up. And if the managers at the top are looking at the data, are looking at the information that this system spews out for them, they can then earmark a person. They can say to the lower managers, hang on, how come we haven't moved Leon up? He's been in that job now for 2 years. He's got the right qualifications. He's been retrained. The system says he's worthy of it. Why hasn't he been moved up? And then it all becomes very much more apparent, rather than being fobbed off like happens so many times because your face doesn't fit, you're not getting on with a guy, or whatever it may be. That happens time and time again in so many businesses, and it takes all of this out of the equation. So I just wanted to bring that up. Good questions, by the way.
Thank you, Red. Excellent backing up. Leon, glad to have you here. Red, that was an excellent backup. Let's, Trevor Peters, you're next, and then we'll get on to Gustavo. Trevor, go ahead and mute yourself, please.
Hey, good evening, everybody. So initially, when I joined on Passive about 3.5 years ago, the idea was to present a marketing type of platform to be able to utilize. Obviously, it's grown into more than that now in this day and age. But with that same philosophy still in mind, how would OStaff, I know the corporate structure of a network marketing or MLM company would be able to benefit from them, but would they also in turn be able to keep track of all of their participants, subscriptions, or as far as commissions and such, as all of that is concerned as well too? Or is that maybe another product of OnPassive that I might be thinking about? Just not entirely sure. Thanks, guys.
You wouldn't be able to do that through OStaff, Trevor. OStaff is for a company employees setup, as far as tracking what OnPassive is doing. Obviously, in the beta testing stage that we're in at the moment, yes, you can input all that sort of data and use the system to start testing it. But as far as OStaff is as a product, it is a human resource management system for companies to run their businesses, plain and simple. If you want to keep track of what your OnPassive business is doing, then there will be other products that will probably be more easier to use, that would be more applicable to, but OStaff wouldn't be the one, mate.
So let's say that I knew somebody in the higher up structure of the Amway company. Would they, I know the corporate side of that company would be able to utilize that, but would they also be able to benefit all of their keep track of what commissions were earned by which participants and such? So
No,
It's not that type of product. huh?
it's
Okay.
not that. It is from an employer-employee point of view. That's what it's for. It is exactly what Leon said earlier on. It's to manage the business as far as operational is concerned. That is from manager at the top all the way down to the employee at the bottom, making sure people are qualified, people are in the workplace, people are getting paid, the taxes are paid, all of the sorts of things that you need to know and have access to in a documental form. This is what OSTAF is for. As far as finding out who's being paid what and where and all the rest of it, it wouldn't facilitate that, mate, I'm afraid. And to be honest, you're far better writing a little Excel spreadsheet for that type of thing, because it'll be easier to run something like that rather than OSTAF. But I'm sure there will be other products within the arsenal of on passive that you would be able to manipulate change or whatever to be able to do that, but not OSTAF, mate.
Brilliant answer. Thank you, Red. I appreciate it.
Got anything else, Trev?
That's it, guys. Rock on. Love you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. All right. Now, I did call Gustavo next, but since there's a lady who was first, Gustavo, I know you're a gentleman like me. Let's let Lois, because she was on earlier. Lois, go ahead and unmute yourself, and I'll get you next, Gustavo.
Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, hi. Thank you, Gustavo. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you so much, Debbie and Susie. I worked my way through offices, and it was terrible. You know, when I did get up into HR and I was against these male, like I'm not against men, but there was some very bad control, you know, and they just tried to make my life hell. And I ended up having a burnout. It was so bad in our company. You know, people were taking it over, it was merging and, you know, constant different merging divisions, and it was international too. So yeah, when you talk about, I worked 60 hours a week and I even had a burnout. It was so bad, you know. And then I decided, okay, when I left that company, I thought, okay, I'm going to make sure I find other companies. But then you just find the same thing. And I used to travel across Canada. I used to interview or like do phone interviews, pre-screen first, you know, without them knowing I'm going to call and then get a good idea, you know. But oh my God, the system, like I wished I could have had it, you know, with all the very bad things that went on at companies and trying to track everything and get people to listen and understand this. I mean, my God, this is amazing. Now I want to call a lot of these companies and people I know, you know, that, yeah, hey, you know, you got to look at this.
Thank you, Lois. That's nice to hear. That's what we're looking for. People coming on here talking about their experiences like Susie and Debbie did. And it sounds like Leon, but I appreciate. Have any other questions, Lois?
No, because you guys covered so well, Debbie and Red and, you know, everybody. I mean, with this whole program, I mean, it is so amazing. I just keep getting blown away the more I hear about it, you know, and wished I didn't go through what I went through, you know, but so happy now that this is, yeah, making life simple and tracking so much easier. You know, I mean, people on leaves or pregnancy leaves or whatever, and the tons of different dynamics of all the parts of it, you know, yeah, it's just, yeah, it's going to be so much better and more equitable for everybody, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, I just wanted, Chris, if that's okay, and Lois, just add something. As you were talking about applicants, when Ash did the presentation in Boston and the dots and all those products came up, and one of them's hire. Okay, and we really, you know, didn't delve into that too much, but you were talking about going through applicants. I know the whole phone screen
and tons of resumes, hundreds and hundreds of resumes to go through manually, you know.
Yeah, but just think about this, because I remember I would hire, say, a medical assistant for a practice, a doctor's office, and then, you know, 10 months later, I had to hire someone else. I'm looking at new applications. Then I had to go in the system and backtrack and look at, you know, try to find applications from before. And all I can see in OStaff and possibly OHire is those will all be such an easy search to look at to see, okay, are there some other applicants that I may have overlooked? The
Yeah.
other thing I wanted to add before we get to the next question, and I think I said this once in either a webinar or a presentation or something, think about the person who struggles with technology. Think about someone who wants to be in the workforce, but they're petrified of the expectation because they may not be tech savvy, they may not be up to speed with everything, and they end up working somewhere else because of that. They don't want to go to a company that there's going to be too much expectation of that. So now you have staff. And instead of a new employee coming to a company and having to learn where to go for email, where to go for their time clock, their benefits, their time, how do they communicate to this manager? How do they look at it? How do they work their calendar? How do they respond to an invitation? You know, just even basic stuff like that, that a lot of people who understand it take for granted. We are now going to be looking at people coming into the workforce and their life at their workplace. If the company has staff, that kind of anxiety and trepidation is going to melt away because the onboarding process is so simple. And that's something a manager interviewing a prospective employee can discuss with them. Look at what we have. This is how we're going to bring you on board. We have this wonderful platform where everything is in one place. You don't have to worry about 10 million different passwords or calling the help desk every 5 minutes because you're locked out. I just look at that's a whole other side of those nervous Nellies with systems that are going to be able to come on board and feel comfortable at a company.
Yes, yes.
You're here.
Yeah.
Oh, I can listen to these all night long. Lois, thank you very much. Susie, thank for
Thank you.
jumping in more on that. I'm actually loving that. Now, before we get on to also, Susan, Susie, I have a question from you from an email. How would someone go about introducing staff to a company? What would you do, Susie?
I know we don't like to talk. We like to talk about value and not maybe cost, but I think that it depends on what company you're presenting it to or how you know the person. I would just probably say, ask them, what do you currently use? Not that we want to bash any other companies. We're not about that. Because what we have is head and shoulders above anything out there. But I think the conversation could begin with, what do you use for your payroll and your human resource management? Are you happy with it? And what does it do? Let them do the talking instead of you doing all of the talking. So you're kind of opening it up to say, you know what, I'm hearing a lot of frustrations from other businesses, and I have a solution for you that's revolutionary, that will give you so much value for the price, plus all in one thing. Keep it simple. And then I'm sure Ash and his team are gonna have things we can share with people to give them more details. Or you ask someone, what are you currently using? Are you happy with it? You know, how is it price wise? And say, would you be interested in looking at something that I think could solve a lot of the pains you're going through? I mean, I'm not a big marketer by any means, but I think keep it simple and then direct them to something, because even we've always said this, trying to explain too much, diarrhea of the mouth, saying too much all over the place. That's how I get. It's better to say, I think you might want to take a peek at the solution because this is revolutionary, and take a look and tell me what you think.
Well, Susie, I just know you answered that question perfect. Absolutely.
Let me add something, Chris.
Go ahead, Marty.
If I was out there and I wanted to share this with a business, I would take this video right here and give it to them. Very simple.
Absolutely, Marty. Absolutely. Susie, thank you for that. question. I think you answered it perfectly. Gustavo, thank you for being patient. Unmute yourself, please.
Thank you. Good evening to everybody, and big blessings to everybody, of course. First of all, I have a lot of experience in multinational companies, more in the marketing department. And I have, of course, in charge with a lot of people as employees. So I see that this staff as will go to be a very important key that Susie and some others persons like Leon give us a key point in about the development or the improve of the company with the human resources. Because if we can have with this staff to be able to analyze or to, let's say, to bring a level of intern employees, and I want to promote the people that is in my company, I will go to have a very important key to be more efficient intern in the companies. So that means that we will go to bring advantages in any, let's say, point of view with this old staff to be efficient internally. So I don't have to, if I required a manager in India, so I can promote first my employees. So that will go to improve more quickly in a high level to my really final result as, let's say, CEO. So that is a very key important point. And the other thing that I have a question is, most of the governments, and Leon can answer me this, most of the governments are inefficient, let's say, administrators right now, because the most, I think, employee, let's say, organization required employees is the government. So our staff, if we can be used in a government with all the institutions, can we think in to bring all governments in this level with our staff? Because the governments are, in my point of view, few governments are very efficient, but most of the governments in the world not. So can you, and how many institutions inside in a government required our staff program application? As will go to be a so big benefit, not only just for a government, but inside of the government, and of course, a lot of cost efficiency, as Red said, this is a cost efficiency to everybody. So staff will go to be a place in any side of little companies, multinational companies, government's level. It's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Gustavo. Appreciate your words of wisdom there. Anyone want to back up on that? Susie, Red, you got anything to say about that?
The only thing I will say is Ash has already said it before, that in the future, he can see governments using our products. The bottom line is, if it makes you more efficient, if it makes you more organized, and it's cheaper, then you'll be, quite frankly, silly not to use it. You know, as a company, we have no allegiances. The corporate world, we have no allegiances to anyone. Governments know we have no allegiances. We are supplying a need that people want at a better product, cheaper price range that's going to make their life easier and better. And if you put all that together and you present it to anybody, individuals, companies, governments, corporates, it doesn't really matter. The same theory is exactly the same. Everybody is looking at cutting costs these days without reducing efficiency and cutting corners. We are actually giving them something that is upscaling their existing systems that they have for a lower price point. So people are going to look. If nothing else, they're going to look. And the rest will be history, because once they start looking at it, once they start seeing what they get for their money, and that goes back exactly what Susie has been saying, the value for what they get, then it's just going to be game over. And, you know, I really can see a lot of very large companies getting hold of this and thinking, actually, this on passive thing, they've actually got something here, haven't they? You know, because it's just going to make their lives so much easier. And if you've got, I don't want to use the word a computer telling you what to do, but that is in essence what it will be doing. It will be, when you log in, it will be flagging up stuff. You need to tell this guy he's got a course in 2 weeks time, 3 weeks time. It's attached with OPIA, if you remember as well. So instantly you can click a button, up will pop the messenger of OPIA, and you can fire off, you've got a course in 3 weeks, mate. Make sure you're here at this time, or go to Academy. And then everything just ties in. When he's done the course, automatically updates the system. So you go from red to green. You know, it's just going to be fantastic.
Kind of eliminates all the excuses, eh, Red? It's right there in front of you.
Exactly. I mean, you know, you can't say I got lost on the way to work and I was here really, because they're logging in. See, that's another thing as well, you see, is that all of the old ways of doing stuff are being taken out of their hands. Staff love the way that they log in, because it saves them time. They can go directly to wherever it is that they are working, get their phone out. I mean, everyone does everything on their phone now. Log in, bink, goes green, they're logged in, the system know they're logged in, the line managers know in, you know, and all the rest of it. Once they've done their job, bink, log out again, go home. No walking. I mean, I don't know about you, Chris, but you probably had a place where you used to log in and log out for your working day, and it wasn't exactly where you were working, was it? It was probably down the hall or wherever it was. It's immaterial, but if it takes you even 2 minutes to get there to log in and log out, that's still 5-10 minutes out of your working day that you're giving to the company for nothing. Yeah. With this, bam, you're there.
This is true. I stood in a lot of long lines over my ears waiting to punch out and punch in. So, Leah, thank you, Red, for that. I appreciate that. Leon, looks like you're busting to say something. You want to add anything to that, Leon?
Yeah, I do. You know, it's crazy because with municipalities and most governmental agencies, you have to do a 3-bid minimum, meaning you got to go with the lowest bidder out of the 3-bid minimum. And you don't necessarily have to go with the low bidder, but you better be close to why you got to be able to ask that question why you didn't go with the low bidder. And also it's all based on what quality they have. And I can see old staff coming in and just dominating, because it takes so many manpower hours and so much money to relicense, as someone mentioned, the product that they would already have. And most small municipalities still don't have any of this product. They still doing everything by hand, spending countless hours. And most taxpayers wants to make sure that you're a good steward and you're accountable for the taxpayer's dollar. And this old staff is the perfect tool for a lot of these municipalities, because they, and you mentioned the question, how would you go about getting someone interested in it? I would, first of all, write a letter to the human resource and ask them, can you get together with all the department heads and start from there in human resource? Because once you show them this, their head will just explode, and they would say, well, they'll start counting the hours of all the work that they're doing by hand. And imagine, someone mentioned earlier, like FMLA, you got FMLA leave, all the different leaves, just all the different leaves, all the birthdays, all the safety, because if you work for a government agency, you got to show that the safety record, that everybody been trained on many different equipment. And all of this goes straight to human resource, and human resource has to know, because the worst thing human resource could do is someone go out there and get hurt and they don't have record of that person been trained in that area. That's a big liability, which taxpayer have to pay that money. And then of course, somebody, a little small manager get fired, they'll blame it on small manager, but you got a whole system where nobody could get blamed. It's right there. Everything is right there. So this is very easy for municipalities. You just call them up, say, I have this program, and send them out, send out letters, and they have to respond. Also, think about it. Government agencies can't push you aside like most private companies can. They have to respond. When you tell them you got something that can help them, they have to give you some kind of letter saying, okay, come and show it to us, or come and present it to us. And when you present it, now there's something had to go off in someone's head that was a better product out there and they didn't go for it, and they mess up over here. Now they got a accountability. Why didn't you go with something that was helpful and can keep track of all of that? And then, like for instance, if Cal OSHA walk onto site or Region Quality Control Board, they'll ask any operator for a maintenance record, and they're supposed to be able to present it. Go to a computer, hit a button, boom, here it is. Here's the product, or someone trained in a specific area. And they can do that just to mess with you. And this is the reason why I said, because I was in government agents for 27 years. And from that, I was in the oil industry like Chevron Oil, mechanical engineering, doing work for them. That's a big company, and training, OSHA is the same thing. Then you go back to governmental agency, same thing. So this product is just awesome. And 10 years ago, we had the largest agency I worked for. I was in charge of the infrastructure from where the windmills in Palm Springs all the way to the Salton Sea. Every water, wastewater, stormwater, everything. And we just went from paper to a very expensive program that was hard to learn and took months to learn it. And this is so much easier. And I can see this program going over really well with a lot of agencies.
Wow. Leon, thank you. It sounds like the only leave we really need to talk about is leaving your old system and coming on to old staff. So
yes,
I appreciate that, Leon.
Yeah.
Debbie, you are unmuted. Do you have anything you want to add to that, Debbie?
No. I think that was great, Leon. Great point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow. Guys, you're blowing me away. I really didn't expect this, but I'm loving it. Stephen Young, you are up next. Can you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hi, I have a questions about, good evening. I have a questions about what Red have been mentioned about using the mobile phone to log in and log out. So I was wondering, how does the system able to help, or especially those staff that is working outside of the office on site, or they are working at homes, especially now we're talking about overtime. So how do the system able to track what time do they log out? Because overtime is concerning about the times, how long they are working. So if someone were to abuse the system, like they clock out 1 hour later using their face, and the office people doesn't know where they are, so they clock up 1 hour later. So that will actually make them working about the overtime pay. So how the system be able to track on that?
Very easily.
Do they have a system? Yeah.
Very, very easily. It's called the IP address. Every single device that has an internet connection has an IP address. We will be using OTracker. That's part of one of our products that can track any IP address anywhere on the globe. We have got the access to every single one of them. Part of the facial recognition is to basically prove who you are to the system. Don't forget, this is only one of the forms of logging in, logging out. It's not the only one. There's still going to be the traditional methods and all the rest of it. that is there. But you brought up a very good point. What about people who are working at home? Now, if this person has been given permission to work from home, they still have to clock in and they still have to clock out, and they will clock in on their phone. I'm starting my working day. Bam, I've logged in. The system automatically knows where they are. Now, I don't know about this, but if the system is using the IP address, then you can pinpoint it on a map where they are. So if they think they can get round being where they are and they're not where they are, a party round the corner at number 10, giving it large, that ain't going to wash, because the manager can go ping, zooms in on Google Earth or wherever it is. He's not where he's meant to be, is he really? Okay, and then obviously they can take the appropriate action. And the same with logging out as well of your working day. If you are working from home, then you will log out as well, exactly the same way. If there is overtime, this is when the payroll will clock in. However you set up your payroll management system, for instance, you might set up it individually for that worker that is contracted to 36 hours a week in a working week, and the system will automatically, depending on how you've set it out, give you the appropriate overtime. For instance, a lot of companies do time and a half on a Saturday, double time on a Sunday, night shifts, all of these types of things. You, like I said, you input this data once into the system, and then it is available on a drop downs or drag and drops or whatever it may be. Obviously, we haven't seen it as yet, but once it has been imported once into the system, then you can then apply whatever that data is to these individuals when you onboard them. And then obviously when they upgrade and they move through the system, you know, into different roles, then obviously the next time they go into a next department, then you have to reassess how many hours they're going to work, what's their rate, you know, any overtime, blah, 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 and all the rest of it. So it is a fantastic system. And look, don't get me wrong, we have to beta test it now. We have to make sure that it all works and all the rest. And then there is going to be add-ons. There is going to be things taken away, you know, because it is all in. We've written the code in, we've made sure it works. But at the end of the day, the proof is in us beta testing it and third eye external people using this system. So it is fantastic, Stephen. Like Leon said, and like Gustav as well, a lot of big businesses will look at this because of how efficient it is going to make them, because they cannot get through the old loopholes. And that's what's going to make it so much better. A lot more accountability is going to be put on the employee as far as telling the truth. And the reason they will have to is because there is the technology now to make sure they are telling the truth of what they are saying. So it's a pretty robust system, but like I said, we've got to test it first. Good question though.
Thank you very much, Rich. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, excellent question and a phenomenal answer, Red. Appreciate that. Stephen, thank you very much. We're going to take one last question, it looks like. Hashina, can you please unmute your mic, please? And I hope I said that right. Hashina, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hey, Red, you're killing it tonight.
I really haven't got a clue what I'm saying. I'm just making it all up, really.
Well, yeah, so am I.
Sounds
You're
good.
awesome. Hashina, can you unmute yourself? Do you have a question, please? Okay. I don't think she's gonna...
Whilst you're there, Chris, the slides that I've just used, anybody who is a founder can get hold of these slides. If you log into your back office and you go to downloads, they are there. Okay, so you can grab them all from there and you can go through them at your own pace. Another thing I suggest that everybody does to get more information about OSTAF basically is exactly what I have done. And that is go over to onpassive.com. Okay, look at the FAQ, well, the whole write-up first of OSTAF and the FAQs. Okay, that gives you so much information about what this product can do. And the other thing to do as well is that when you do get access to the form on the login on OSTAF, there is a little information squiggle at the top of the login page there as well. If you click that, it comes up with a little bit of an appraisal of what OSTAF can do as well. All this is information about OSTAF. And as they say, information is power. The more you guys out there can knowledge yourself on any product, and not just on about OSTAF, on about absolutely every product of OnPassive, the better you will be as explaining to anybody, explaining what certain things can do. And it's going to be beneficial to you guys at the end. At the end of the day, listen, OnPassive is your business. The more you know about your business, the more successful you will be in your business. So spend a bit of time gaining that knowledge on the products of OnPassive, and you watch how easy it is for you to start explaining what something is. Because the last thing you want to do is when someone says something, you go, well, you know, I don't know, but I'll get back to you. It just makes you look like an idiot, really, doesn't it? And we don't want to be doing that. You want to look like you're a professional. So get knowledgeable, and all it takes is a bit of knowledge by getting into the back office and doing it. Back over to you, Chris.
Red, thank you very much. I want to bring on someone, a very good friend of mine, and the lady I'm filling in for, Robin. Robin, I'm so glad you're here. Please unmute your mic and show us that beautiful voice.
Chris, thank you so much. You've done an amazing, amazing job as hosting this evening. Thank you so much. Red, the presentation was excellent. Thank you. Ace man. Susie, Debbie, Leon, your input, your conversations, your suggestions, your insights to how this incredible platform of ours can be used has been so helpful. I know nothing about the HR side of things, but as a customer of it in that regard, as a staff member, it sounds as if it would have been something that would have been fantastic for me, because I remember the pages and pages of paperwork that I had to fill out every time I joined a ship within the same company. And whereas with what I'm hearing, this could have just been transferred across. Your insights, as I say, your examples, though, of how this could be used through corporations has been huge and invaluable. Thank you so much. Julie, your work excellent as always. And Marty, my friend, thank you for setting this all up. You never know what's going to happen on a Thursday night, but this is going to be our training educational night. And so we will be doing different formats similar to this in Who Is On, but people with expertise will be joining us, people with direct access or knowledge of whatever the next platform is, with explanations coming forward. So thank you so much to everybody. Being a fly on the wall this side has given me quite a different perspective, and I've learned a lot from this as well. You've all been amazing. Thank you so much. Have a good evening, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Chris, back to you.
Robin, number one, thank you for letting me help you out tonight. I appreciate you. You know that. I want to thank, again, like Robin said, Susie, Debbie, Leon, wham, right out of the woodwork there. I love it, man. Thank you for your input. Redford, one of the best. You're not a Q&A guy to me. You're very informational, Red, and everything you do is so professional. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for doing all the hard work for us and for everyone else that's in this family. If Marty DeGarmo, I love you. I know you're hidden in the background because I know Marty talks a lot all day, but I appreciate you too. Guys, if anyone's listening to this on the YouTube world, the founders, if someone shared this video with you, please get back with them and ask them all about Impassive. If you're a business owner out there or work in the HR department, you just heard some phenomenal war stories, we'll call them, from some professional individuals, men and women from all over. We had Lois jumping on with her stuff, letting you know how great OSTAF really is. So spread it around, use Red, use Susie, Leon, Debbie's advice. Get into businesses. You all got friends that own companies and businesses. My goodness, why wouldn't you want to help them out? All right. It's the greatest thing in the world. Panel, I love every one of you. Ash Mafara, thank you for giving us all this opportunity. And we'll see y'all next Thursday, whatever this show's called anymore, I don't know, but we can continue later. I love everyone here. God bless you. Susie, go get that dog. She's tired.